Okay, I'm no Street Fighter savant. I'm just a dude who watched a trailer. And based on trailers, it looks like the new Street Fighter is building Ken and Ryu around a former brothers-in-arms drifting apart story. For Ryu, the arc appears very internal, spiritual. The trailer has him saying the path he's on is not one of combat, which means he's trying to leave fighting behind and perhaps redefine his strength. Ryu looks like a champion, haunted by what fighting has turned him into, like he's afraid of his own potential. And where have we seen that this year? Ken's story, the trailer describes him as a former champion who's become more of a sideshow Bob. He's still tied to his ego and fame, but now he's lost purpose. So while Ryu has run from fighting, Ken has cheapened it. So their real story probably isn't let's save the world first, it's repairing their broken friendship and rediscovering why they trained together in the first place. Yes, Ryu and Ken have basically always been friendly rivals in the lore, but my layman, button-mashing understanding is that it was never usually portrayed as hero versus villain. It's more like best friends, training partners, competitive brothers. Ryu wants growth, Ken wants recognition. This new trailer, you could say, intensifies that dynamic. It implies they've drifted apart emotionally before the movie even begins. The tournament itself is just an external plot. This story is about whether Ken and Ryu can become brothers again. Or another way to look at it, the trailer is trying to show us that these characters have changed. And that brings me to the whole point of this video. Why are guys in movies so lame now? They did the same thing to Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat. Johnny Cage is supposed to be full of ego, an A-list Hollywood star. He's supposed to eventually be humbled and then puts the team ahead of himself. This new Johnny Cage, he has the opposite problem. He has to look within himself to then build himself up. Johnny Cage isn't supposed to be built up, he's supposed to be humbled down. The 1990s male action hero was at least written with self-esteem. John McClane talks back to terrorists while barefoot and bleeding. Indiana Jones walks into danger with swagger. Johnny Cage and classic Ken Masters are cocky because the audience is supposed to enjoy their larger-than-life confidence. Even quiet heroes like Ryu or Piccolo were fundamentally sincere and heroic once they accepted their role. Those characters absolutely had struggles, but their stories moved with certainty. The modern-day male hero often goes in the opposite direction. Heroes are traumatized, uncertain, emotionally broken, reluctant to fight, or even afraid to become dangerous themselves. So instead of, I must become stronger, it becomes, am I even a good person? 90s blockbusters sold aspiration and cool dudes. Modern blockbusters prioritize too much psychological vulnerability and not enough pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Save for Top Gun 2. Maverick is still interesting because Tom Cruise plays a character who refuses to become emotionally defeated by age. Pete Mitchell is older now, slower, and out of step with modern systems. But internally, he's still the same guy from the 80s. He still believes skill matters, instinct matters, courage matters, and the impossible is possible if you fully commit. The movie constantly puts him in situations with younger pilots, bureaucrats, and commanders all telling him, your time is over. But Mav never fully accepts that story. He listens, he carries regret, and he's haunted by Goose's death. But he never becomes self-loathing or cynical. That's the big difference compared to modern legacies. Maverick isn't broken down so the next gen can replace him. He isn't embarrassed by who he used to be, and the movie doesn't treat confidence as arrogance that must be punished. The new Street Fighter trailer feels very modern in that sense. Ryu is burdened by violence, and Ken is emotionally lost, instead of simply being the disciplined warrior and the confident rival. A 1990s version of this movie probably would have had them grinning before a fight, saying something like, "Let's see who's stronger." This 2020s version seems more like, "What happened to us?" And maybe that's what we miss about action heroes. They weren't perfect. They had struggle, but they still walked into the impossible believing they could overcome. Ryu didn't need to evaluate his self-worth. He needed to fight off the dark side of the Force. Ken didn't need to learn confidence. He needed to learn humility. And Johnny Cage didn't need therapy before the tourney. He needed life to punch his ego in the face. Older heroes became better by rising higher. Modern heroes become better after starting in the dumps. And maybe we, the audience, are starting to miss characters who can look danger in the face and say, "I can do this."